Hello, everyone. This is Rosie, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of my podcast called My Intrusive Thoughts. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you've had a good week. I hope that all the to-do lists have been completed, done and dusted. So you're ready to start the weekend, kick it off with me, as we've been doing for the past couple weeks, and I've really been enjoying this journey so far. And today, finally, I have managed to produce
Oh, I see we were
this
getting fancy with the
this
English.
what do I call it? This rare chance of having a guest speaker on this podcast. This is the first time, and there probably are going to be a lot of technical glitches happening. So I'm sorry in advance to everyone who has to listen to me ramble and then maybe get cut off in the middle or sound distant or whatever. But hang in there, guys. Hang in there. I'm trying to figure this thing out, and eventually I will. So I know I can go off and start rambling straight away, but since we have a guest today, we'll let them feel the privilege of being on this show by letting them introduce themselves. So here we have Dr. Hisham.
Well, thank you, Rukaya. So nice of you. I'm really happy that you have me on your podcast. And there's certainly not a gun to my head. I'm here on my own will. So, my name is Hisham, and I'm one of Rukaya's friends. And we met a year ago. We were classmates, but we never spoke.
Which is surprising because we literally studied for 3 to 4 years together. We were at one point living in the same building, but we barely,
Yeah,
crossed paths.
it's like two different worlds. She was off doing her things, I was doing my things.
But
Those
I
worlds never
think, in my
collided.
defense, it was mostly because I had sworn off Pakistanis. Like, the minute I saw a Pakistani coming my way, I would just take a U-turn and start walking in the other direction because of some very traumatic experiences I had,
Oh yeah.
when I got to China. So I think that is one of the biggest reasons why we never
Yeah,
talked.
and the excuse on my end is that I never really cared. I never really noticed her. Look, I never really noticed her walking around. Like, I saw her in class. I used to see her going up and down the stairs, but that's it. Then she disappeared around the corner. I'm like, where's this girl? She just disappears. Like, okay.
I'm tiny, but I'm not that tiny.
You were like a myth to me.
Okay. Now I
So,
feel some type of way. I feel
mean,
like I'm Voldemort. Everybody's like,
but
you must not speak their name.
I just took it. Okay, so you've contradicted yourself. Is this a podcast? Is this podcast credible? And all jokes aside, I am from Pakistan, but I'm not only Pakistani. I'm half Sri Lankan. My mom's from Sri Lanka. I was born and raised in Kuwait, and then went on to study medicine in China, and then came to Pakistan. And here I am now.
I like to imagine God when he was making him. He was just like going through different DNAs, and he's like, I'll pick this, pick that. He made a cocktail of DNA, different
Okay.
fragments, and then he just joined them together.
That word, the word cocktail, brings back so many memories because Arab people, they don't have a vast vocabulary, right? So whenever you tell them that you're from two different cultures, they're like, oh, cocktail. Yeah.
That just sounds so weird in that accent. Alright, so, I mean, this podcast is usually just me rambling off, so, I'm gonna take some creative liberty here,
Sure.
and I will probably pretend to be an interviewer. Is that the word? Interviewer?
Sure.
And I'm
Okay.
going to interview you.
Mhm.
So, are you ready for it?
Yeah, but I can't promise anything. I might start interviewing you.
It's okay. We're gonna get through this.
We'll get.
So, Dr. Hisham, almost Dr. Hisham,
Yes, almost Dr. Rukaya.
my first question for you would probably be that why did you choose medicine? What got you into this profession?
All right. let me answer your question. You see, when we're all little children, we all have dreams and ambitions, right? And for miles in my generations, my mom's side or my dad's side, no one's anything close to a doctor, right? But I don't know. I guess, it was around the time I gained conscious, right? When you start to realize you have hands and feet, and you have a face and a nose. I just looked in the mirror one day and I was like, when I grow up, I will become a doctor. But
So you just looked at yourself in the mirror and you were like, this
yeah,
is a doctor.
this guy, I'd get medicine from him.
Yeah, so you imagine yourself in a white coat and
Oh yeah,
the
all
stethoscope
the
and
time, all the
walking
time, all
down
the time.
the hall
And it
looking
was
all
always,
busy.
and there was this, I guess, a social thing.
Mm-hmm.
All the people around me, all my parents' friends, they'd come over and they'd look at me, and they'd all be like, "Oh, this guy is such a cute boy. I hope he grows up to become a doctor." And I hate to think that psychology was instilled into my brain, and that just
No, it's true.
propelled
These
me.
these things do influence you. Like,
Mm,
growing up, I think I went through every phase imaginable.
mm,
When I got into high school, that is when I sort of started developing an interest for medicine.
mm.
But one thing stayed constant all along
Right.
was that little part of me that wanted to be a musician,
Oh,
which
okay.
astounded my parents. It basically made them worry for my life. They were like, "Oh my god, we
Like
are so like we are literally a decision away from losing this girl to the world of arts."
arts, and they.
And that was
Do you think they would have disowned you?
no, they wouldn't have disowned me, but they would probably my general value
No,
would have decreased.
no.
Like, let me put it this way:
Okay.
if there was a flood, and
Hmm.
it was my sister who's studying psychology,
Okay.
and then it was me who
Studying
was
music.
what, a drummer, a guitarist, maybe a vocalist in some band,
Mhm.
and they had to choose one,
Okay. I don't like where this is going, but
they would probably go for my sister first, and I'll be an afterthought. Oh,
oh, the drummer girls there.
Yeah.
Girl.
Because, no, I'm
Mm.
just kidding. Obviously, nothing like that. I love my parents. They're probably gonna save me too.
Oh,
But
yeah,
then again,
definitely.
Jack could have been saved, but Rose decided not to. And
Okay,
I stand by that.
let's not.
However controversial that sounds.
Listen, let's not go there. She was the most selfish B word in history. Right?
Oh my god, he
there
went
was
there.
space.
He
for
went there.
There was space for another man on that door, or whatever it was. She just couldn't bother. She had other lovers to love. She had other paintings to be.
She had to live a 90-year-old life, a rich 90-year-old life, and have grandkids, and so.
And then at the end of it, she had the audacity to say she.
He's
loved
going
me.
there, guys. He's going there.
I,
But
I'm
okay.
there.
let's not go on that little tangent here. So as I was saying,
Mhm.
I guess you sort of see people around you
Yeah.
saying all sorts of things, and
Look.
my uncle was a writer, right?
Mhm,
So that is what influenced me
Mhm.
a lot growing up. And then my mother was a teacher. I mean, she still is a professor.
Mhm.
So that also influenced me in a way. And then my dad was there.
He was a doctor.
So yeah, and then he always was very interested in teaching me these things. He was so eager to answer all my questions related to
Mhm.
medicine, and I think that was the biggest, what do you call it, turning point for me. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, the biggest pitch, because
Okay.
I just watched him be all excited. Like, I
Mhm.
would ask him a single question, like, what are neutrons?
Mhm.
And then he would go on this like little journey of explaining everything he knew about them, and he was so enthusiastic about it that just watching him talk about something he loved,
I would definitely.
it really inspired me. So I guess that would probably be the biggest reason why I chose medicine. But yeah, you're right. People influence you a lot.
But you see, I didn't do justice to that. I didn't do justice to my childhood, to be honest. And I really can't remember when I wanted to become a doctor. It was always something that I felt. I've always had this interest for science and literature.
Mhm.
I was so naive when I started medical school.
Mhm.
I thought I'd be done with medical school, then I'd do my master's in English literature.
Oh my god, same
You see
here.
that? See how naive I was?
Oh my, that's literally what I thought. Like, this is me back in A levels, when I was deciding for my um specialty subjects, and I was like, I'm gonna have like two languages. So I picked up English literature, and then I picked up Spanish, and then I was like, oh, I can do like
Hola, ¿cómo estás, señora?
see, now my Spanish has gone, okay. Saransoyo.
Yes, no hablo español.
Yo hablo español un poco.
Un speak más. No, un poco. Okay, so stop.
Let's not,
So, Masters in Literature.
Basically, so I was, thinking of picking up my language courses, and then I was like, I can also have these science subjects as well. So I picked up like all these courses. And then if you have studied in Pakistan and you've done your A levels here, you would know that what I did was the biggest crime anybody could commit, because all those subjects altogether were the worst mixture for my mental health. And I ended up dropping English, and then just ended up doing like the Spanish government exam, but not the A-level exam. And then I just sort of almost failed at my sciences because I was all over the place. But yeah, and in my head I was like, I'm gonna use both of these sort of things. I'm gonna keep them together. I'm gonna, we're gonna be writing both these streams.
Everything's going to be good and done.
Yeah, and then.
But look at us now.
Yeah, it just went downhill from there.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kid that wanted to do both majors.
No, but they had dreams, they had hopes, and I admired them for their zeal.
They say that life starts at 40. I might start at 40.
Yeah, we might. What do you mean? I mean, all that hard work we put in. At 40 we're just gonna press reset after going all through all this.
It would be like an upgrade, like people would look at me and be like, that's a doctor, but he's also a professor in English. that would be something.
You could be a professor doctor.
Oh.
Teaching at a prestigious literature.
I would exclusively teach medicine to English speaking people. That's my new power.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we've never heard of that. That's so rare. You're gonna be the first of your kind. Anyway, so yeah, you were saying. So
let's just now that you've got a bit of backstory about us, let me tell you a bit about my life before I met this wonderful Ruqayya and before we came to Pakistan. Look at you. I had to. It would have been an insult to my Chinese if I hadn't. All those years spent learning Chinese, I want to touch on that. I want us to talk about the whole Chinese.
Flex your Chinese.
Nah,
you have a platform.
I do. But these people came to listen to our story. I'll invite you all to my podcast, and you can listen to my Chinese at my time. No, all right. So, COVID hit. I left China just to attend a wedding, right? I guess we all did. Ruqayya's got the same story. I came here for a week, and things just worked out so weirdly that I didn't go back to China. I went back to Kuwait. My mom was like, just go back home. Just for a week, and then you go back to China. And then what happened is the world closed down on us. Each and every one was stuck in their own houses.
The world was like, stay where you are.
Stay where you are. And guess where I was stuck? In the most comfortable place on earth, right? Kuwait is like heaven for procrastinators, for the lazy people. It's just, you lay around all day, eat good food, and just watch Netflix and do nothing else in your life.
Right? I mean, I have not been to Kuwait, but I've been to Saudi, and I can vouch for that because all I did for 3 weeks that I was staying with my dad was just eat, sleep, watch movies, and that's it. It's a very comfortable life, and like I admire people who wake up every day, go to work, whilst being surrounded by all these comforts of life, faculties, facilities.
But where was I? COVID, Kuwait, and I was just living my best life to the point where every day was so monotone and so dull and boring. I don't even know how I started talking to this girl.
Exams. We were
Exam.
swapping notes.
Were we?
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I started talking to her. Like I just reached out. I'm like, I've talked to everyone in school except this girl. Let me just.
We were both just anxious about what's gonna happen, and we were stuck in places that we did not see ourselves being stuck in, and
Oh
then we
yeah.
just sort of bonded over that. And then one thing led to another, and next thing we know, this dude is flying to Pakistan, and we've decided that we're gonna start our internship together. And even that came around in a very weird way because
Mhm.
around this time back, like last year,
Last year. Yeah.
we had no idea what we were going to be doing.
Oh no.
We were just
like completely
throwing
lost.
arrows into the dark, just hoping something would come out of it.
Yeah.
And then we talked to one of our seniors, and he was like, "Why don't you guys come hang out with me for a day and
Mm.
look around, get a
Oh,
feel
but
of my hospital?"
you got to tell these people about like the first on our own experience, like lost in Lahore, going from hospital to hospital.
Oh yeah, that was itself a journey. I kind of did not want to bring that up because it's the part of my life that I don't want to look back on because rejection after rejection after rejection.
And it was the most in your face kind of rejection. You know, they're
Yeah,
like you.
they were not subtle about it.
Nope, nope, not at all. They're like, you foreign medical graduates, get out.
I think one of them actually shoved that Supreme Court
Court-
order in our faces
Yeah.
too.
And he was so polite about it. He sat us down. He's like, look at this piece of paper. It says that you both cannot work
The
here.
most polite way that I've ever been told to fuck off.
Yeah.
That guy did it. He
He
was
did.
so nice about it too. So we didn't feel bad at all until we got home and we were like, what the fuck just happened? What the hell just happened?
We just got rejected. That's what happened. And but you see, things always work out for the best. Don't you think so?
Yeah, definitely. It was a miracle in itself that we got to talk to our senior and he was like, why don't you come hang out? And so we made the
First journey.
yeah the memorable journey of from Lahore to this place 4 hours away, and we were like, yeah, let's just hang out, we'll see what happens. We came without any expectations, and we were like, if nothing goes well, at least we'll have traveled out of the city
out
and
of the city,
seen something, just been out and about for a day. So that was the kind of mindset we had when we came here, and one thing led to
Oh,
another.
God. You wanna talk about the first time we came here? In your mom had rented this car for us, right?
Yeah.
And we land in this new city, and she wants coffee, obviously. This caffeine addict.
I mean, we were in the car for almost 5 hours.
Yeah.
And then without coffee, and we basically started this journey around like 3 a.m.
Oh,
and
yeah,
we'd been in the car.
It was early in the morning.
Yeah, and I needed that coffee. I needed to wake up, and we almost died that day whilst entering the city because my driver almost fell asleep, and I lost it. I was like, oh my god, we need to stop. It was not for me. That coffee was for him.
But he didn't have the coffee, did he? He was in the
But
car.
he needed that break. I think
So,
it did him good.
This new city, we don't know anything about it, and we start looking on Google for some coffee shops.
Yeah.
And we end up in this place. It's a fancy schmancy hotel.
Yeah.
We don't look up. When you're in a new city, you only look down. You look down at the road, or you look at the people in front of you. You don't look up into the buildings, right? And we failed to notice that we've walked into one of the most pretentious chain hotels in this world. I don't want to name it, but it starts with an R, ends with an A.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was an experience. I think that actually set a precedent for us to have a good time because that coffee tasted
It
good,
was good.
and we got a chance to sort of wind down after that long ass journey
Especially
and
like
recollect ourselves.
you felt like royalty when you sat there. Like,
All these
chandeliers.
expensive, expensively dressed people were coming down for their breakfast, and we were just sitting there all wide-eyed.
Oh,
And
they're me with my jean jacket and my jeans. And
all
this,
disheveled and all sorts of like tired that we could be, having just sort of survived a near-death experience on the road. So it was memorable.
It
Yeah,
was
of course. Right. So we are in this new city, and we finally met our senior, and we've looked around, and we thought to ourselves that maybe this could work. And so, on that very moment, like, I think it took me 10 minutes at most to decide that this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm hauling my ass all the way from home, moving to the city, 4 hours away from my family and everything, and I'm just doing it. So, that was me having decided that this is it. This is going to be my life for the next year. What did you think? When did you come to this decision?
I've already made up my mind when I left Kuwait.
Uh
You
huh.
know, this was the only thing that I was going to do, whether it was in Lahore or if we had to go to Sri Lanka, or if we had to do it in
Yeah,
this.
that was in the books too. I remember when
Yeah.
we were planning to go to Sri Lanka for this.
But thank God we did. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, things work out. They have their own course of
But yeah,
action.
so for me, it was since day one.
Uh
I
huh.
knew it. This is the only thing that I have to do now. Like, spend a year in any hospital, and I had a friend to do it with. So,
I think that was also, yeah,
yeah.
one of the things that really drove me to doing this, because I was like, I can't do this on my own. I would not have done this on my own. So thank you for being here. So the
It's been.
internship itself is a concept that a lot of you privileged asses who have studied in Pakistan would not know about. And I mean that
Oh,
with the utmost
and
respect,
no,
because
no, she means that in complete disrespect. You.
because this is a concept that's so foreign to these people,
Mhm.
and every time I've met a local graduate, I have had to explain this over and over and over again, to the point that now I feel like I should record this whole experience,
Oh
like
yeah.
everything to do with this internship, and keep it with me. And every time someone's like, "Oh, so you're from China?"
Or you just
Just
create a Spotify playlist and like track 5.
track 5, yeah. Listen to this. You'll understand why I'm here, what I'm doing, what is my purpose in life. So, anyways, this is basically a period before we graduate,
Mhm.
and it's compulsory for us to
Yes,
do. And
yes, it
usually
is.
in
Yes, it
China, we have to work in the affiliated hospitals of our university, our schools, institutes, whatever. But unfortunately, since we were stuck here, we had to find ourselves a hospital that would let us work. And by work, I mean be an observer, because that was the
Yeah.
most they were willing to let us do.
That's like the first thing they told us.
Yeah. So we were like, okay. And according to the internship, we have to. It's basically like the house job. So
To the
only
people,
thing is that we
to the
didn't
people
have
who don't know
any.
what a house job is, could you explain a house job?
Basically, it's a mandatory 1 year training that you have
Yes.
to take after you graduate from medical school in Pakistan. Actually, everywhere else as well.
Oh
So you basically are an intern in different departments, and usually people intern in surgery, general surgery, then they do general medicine, and then they take an allied course, like allied department. So maybe gynecology for allied surgery, and peds medicine for medicine
Medicine,
allied.
medicine.
So yeah, there are different other departments that you could go to as well. So that's basically supposed to be a year-long training
Yeah.
program.
But for us, it's like 1.5 years.
Yeah, the internship
The
is,
internship.
yeah. So which is basically off the radar sort of thing, under the table sort of thing, because it's not recognized here, because we have not graduated yet. So we are not considered house officers, but we're not even
We're
medical
just
students.
house.
So we're just yeah, we're just a house. We're like somewhere in between. We are that that kiosk that you see in the middle of the desert,
Oh,
just
yeah,
on the side of the road. We are that, basically, like in the middle of the journey somewhere.
To all the Filipino speakers listening, we are the baklas, right?
Yeah, that's what we
you
are.
guys know what that means.
Yeah, you need to. You must. Anywho, so we have to intern in surgery. We have to do it in gynae. We have to also do it in medicine, and then there were like other allieds that we had to do as well. But that was for us a choice, because we did not have the time to like go everywhere, do everything. So, but we tried. We tried to follow a pattern.
We did. We tried to spend 3 months in every department we did, but
Yeah.
some things didn't work out at the end.
Yeah,
And
which is sort of
yeah.
what do you call it? Like a little
Look, the easiest way to say it is sad. Right? It was sad. We were sad. We are kind of sad.
I didn't want to say sad because that would be a little too dramatic.
No.
I'm kind of relieved that we're
You know
finally
what
done.
would be dramatic?
What?
If you'd say it's excruciating. That's dramatic. Right? So,
I'm not a poet, so I don't think I would opt for that word, but
everyone's a poet. Come on.
but yeah, we are now finally at the end of this long journey that has lasted us almost a year.
Almost a year, exactly.
Exactly a year, yeah.
Exactly.
So we are so prepared for the future, I think.
Yes, we are. But the future seems kind of lonely, you know. I don't know.
Oh, it's okay.
It's like
we'll all be alone together, lonely together.
Yeah, that's
All
not what I
in-
mean. But thank you for your interpretation. I mean, the thing is, in this field, it's like at a certain point, it's only you and you alone. I don't know. To me, that's how it feels.
I think that applies to everything in life.
Mm.
You come to this world alone unless you are a twin like me.
Twin.
Yeah.
like you guys weren't conjoined, right?
But yeah, thankfully that would have been another.
Or maybe
disaster.
you were and you don't know. They never told you.
My twin sister was a stillbirth and she basically passed away before developing properly. So wow, let me not start indulging all my deep dark secrets.
This podcast is called My Intrusive, okay?
Oh, okay.
And we're staying true to that.
Thank you for reminding that. Right, so I'll let you do the honors of explaining the first day.
Okay, cool.
What did you feel like?
So, let me paint a picture for you guys. It's me, Ruqayya, and...
Sad to say that it's me. Taylor Swift just jumped out.
I'm the bad guy.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Please go ahead.
So it was both of us and the senior of us, right? And we meet him, he takes us out to eat. And by the way, we went to the same restaurant just before recording this podcast.
Coming full circle, we're trying to do everything that we did when we got here.
Yeah. So, he takes us to the hospital. And he tells us all these things like, oh, you guys can start in medicine, you guys can start in surgery. He takes us to nephrology.
Yeah.
Right? That's where he was at when we came. And that place was so dull to me. I walked in and I was like, what is this? Am I in a dungeon? Okay, first of all, the stench. The stench was horrid. I don't know why. I couldn't stand it.
Did you go into the dialysis room? Because I went there and that was god awful. And I felt so bad for the patient. It was my first day as well. Never been into a hospital setting as an internee.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you see all these people...
You remind me. We have to talk about the power of the scrubs. Power of the white coat. Okay? Yeah, go on.
So I walk in, and I'm dressed in my normal clothes, because at that point, we did not know that we could just, buy ourselves some scrubs and just walk around in that and be more comfortable. But then I was all dressed up, it was cold. It was February, so it was pretty cold.
Yeah.
And I walk in, it's stuffy inside because they had heaters and everything. And then on top of that, the smell of just, it felt like diseases in there.
Yeah.
And it felt like, I don't want to say it, but rotting flesh for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, God.
That was horrendous. And then all these people lying on stretchers and beds, and just, it was a very morbid sort of atmosphere. And I felt the graph of my adrenaline go from K2 to rock bottom.
Rock bottom, below sea level.
Yeah.
Mariana
and I was like,
levels.
what am I doing here? I was constantly thinking of the fact that I have to be in this environment for the next whole year. And me already having anxiety issues, this was the last thing that I would want to put myself through.
And you know what the worst part was?
Mm-hmm.
Our senior, he wanted us to wait a bit.
Yeah.
So he kept us in a waiting room in the nephrology ward.
Yeah.
And that place there were people staring. There were people like, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah, it felt like we were animals in a cage.
We were intruding on some uncharted grounds, like some.
And we did not feel at home, so obviously we were just sitting there all like rock-like,
Yeah.
like statues, and just waiting for him to give us commands, and it just felt awful.
It did.
That first day was very...
But you see, that took a real turn because just after a little while, we all came to the conclusion that we'd start researching.
Yeah.
And so we go to ward number 5. Yay! The most infamous ward in the hospital. For all the best
Yeah.
reasons. I love that place. Okay.
Love y'all, folks. Please, if you're listening in.
To all the people, you know who you
Actually,
are.
no, actually, I think this experience was made...
By ward 5.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that this whole experience was made better, and I think to some extent the best that we could have had,
Yeah.
given the circumstances, because of one person.
Yes.
This one person who became our Dumbledore, McGonagall, I don't know, Tony Stark,
Yep.
everything for us.
He
ठीक है?
was the daddy bear.
Yeah, that dude is everything. Sir, अगर आप सुन रहे हैं,
Thank you very much. Thank you for
thank you very
everything.
much for doing what you did for us. Because आपके बगैर, what is this behavior, Pooja?
Yeah.
I mean, this is one line that I have to always tell him. What is this behavior, Pooja? Because, you know, लोगों का तकिया कलाम होता है. This is it for me.
That's your tip.
Yeah, this is how we greet each other when we talk. So,
Right.
this one guy was a PGR in surgery, and we met him the first day.
And he was so busy.
Yeah.
So busy. Actually, later on we get to learn that he's not actually busy. But
the art of looking busy.
the art of running around acting busy.
No,
So
but he kind of was. At that day, I think he had a list to do at the OT, but let's
But no,
not.
no. Listen. So our senior introduces us to this PGR, and he looks at us head to toe. And he's like, "Okay, I can work with you guys.
Fair enough.
Follow me."
Yeah.
And he takes us to the HOD's room,
Yeah.
which turns out,
That he is a friend of my father's.
wow.
Not just a friend. He's actually his classmate. And he was very nice to us. And he's like, yeah, sure. Go ahead,
But he's
guys.
very straightforward also. You know,
Yeah.
it's like no
Y'all
messing
are going to
around.
work here. Y'all better be on your best behavior.
No,
And that's it.
No touching the patients.
No touching the patient. And that reminded me of that one scene in Harry Potter when Voldemort comes back to life in the fourth part, and then he goes and he touches Harry on the forehead. It's like that is what I was imagining. It's like, don't touch the patient. I was like, okay. We will not touch the patients.
Oh my god. And yeah, so that's how it all started, and he gave us permission to observe in his ward as internees, and we were finally in.
We are into the system.
But folks, I'll let our precious host speak for now. I shall take the back seat and wait for part 2.
Ooh. You've already given it away. I was gonna be like, am I gonna do a part 2 and tell you about the rest of the story?
Allegedly a part 2.
You can't take it back now. But thank you so much, guys, if you've stuck by for this long. I don't know how long this is gonna be. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and hopefully we can do a part 2 and continue this conversation about our experiences during this internship year that we've had, and tell you all about our adventures
Mostly.
and more. So till then, Allah Hafiz, and please be safe out there. Please, please, please be safe. Be kind to each other, and I'll see you next Friday.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.